All right, leaving the Barnes & Nobles now. I just spent 43 minutes speed reading Think and Grow Rich. And so I wanted to do a quick brain dump and just talk about some of the things that stood out to me most from that book while it's fresh in my mind. And also it's kind of a way of gauging what I was able to glean from it and retain, right? Because speed reading, if we don't retain it, what's the point, right? There have been some studies that show that retention will actually go up tremendously. The more we practice this, the more we become skilled at it. So let's see how I did. So for starters, some of the things that came up over and again were desire. Big topic of the book is desire, which we don't often hear about a lot. In fact, a lot of social circles and schools of thought and philosophies sort of disdain desire as something that should be squashed or gotten rid of. And Napoleon Hill actually says that it is absolutely necessary. We need to have desire. We need to have definiteness of purpose, he talks about. So definiteness of purpose means absolute certainty in the thing that you are trying to acquire, whether it's money, whether it's employment, or whether it's creating a vision. We have to be certain and absolutely convicted in our purpose. We must have an intense desire, and then we must also have faith, belief. Develop that belief into more and more certainty that we shall have the thing, that we actually already have the thing that we want. And so we should start to live in such a way as to embody already having it. So think about how you would feel, what you would be like, how you would behave, how you would think, where you would shop, all these sorts of things, if you already had the object of your desire. Next, he talks about the importance of masterminds, getting groups of people together who share similar aims and goals and are able to support each other by offering accountability and insight into the things that we are trying to accomplish. So getting together with a group of people who share the goals that you have, they don't have to be the same goals, right? But let's say entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs would be an awesome example of a group of people who all have similar aims. Now, he talks about, I'm going to come back to faith because there was quite a bit on faith in the book as well. And he talks about actually prayer as well, and how like most people when they go to prayer, it's because they've exhausted all of their other resources. They've tried everything else. Nothing has worked. Nothing has gotten them the results that they want. So finally, in desperation, they seek to appeal to higher consciousness, to God, to spirit, to infinite intelligence, and seek some sort of intervention on their behalf. However, what Napoleon Hill points out so brilliantly is that by the time they come to prayer, they're already filled with doubt. They already have so much fear that it's not going to happen, that they're crying out in desperation, but they don't have the faith necessary to actualize that prayer. And so what instead they do is they reaffirm the very things that they don't want, the very fears that they have. They're actually reaffirming them by using prayer in this way. They're working against themselves. And so this is kind of like a pretty big thing to be aware of, especially if you're the praying type, because this is how most people are praying. They're asking for what they want. And what's needed is action. And so this is another point that he makes, I'll point out as well. He says when we have a plan, we need to, first, we have to have definite purpose. We need to decide that we're going to have this. We need to have desire, an intense, burning desire to have the thing. And then we need to develop a plan. We need to develop a plan, and then we need to write out what we intend to give for the thing that we want to get. He says there's no such thing as something for nothing. And I love this. This was like a six simple steps that he talked about, and I think he was talking about specifically in gathering riches, but it could be for any goal that you have, whatever it is, right? You got to have desire, intense desire, definiteness of purpose, like certainty. You know what it is that you want. You're committed to having it, so you have decided. You are ready to take action, right? But before you can take action, you have to develop a plan. And part of that plan must include, what is it that you're going to give in order to receive this thing that you want so badly? And I love that part. That's my favorite of all, because giving is really where it's at. And we cannot receive unless we are willing to give. And we won't be able to give if we don't have anything that we've received, right? So these two are like flip sides of the same coin. So we can't just cultivate one or the other. Most people are just looking for a handout. They're like, I'll give when I have enough. No, you have to give first. You have to give when you have even nothing. You have to find a way that you can give something of value to people. And then he talks about you have all these things, then you need to take action. And you also need to put this into a statement. This is part of the auto-suggestion, the subconscious programming that he talks about. And so he does talk about the subconscious, which is pretty cool, because this book is like from, I don't know, the 1930s. And so he was definitely ahead of his time. And through his auto-suggestion principle, he says you want to write down your goal, your plan, what you're giving to receive it, all these things in a simple, short statement that you can read to yourself aloud twice daily. And this will reaffirm that it's happening, that it's already happened. And then you have to take action with no hesitation. So even before you know what to do fully, even before you have, maybe you only have part of the plan, doesn't matter. Take action. Take action immediately, and then continue to iterate and reiterate. And that is like some of the most important information and training and teaching that I gleaned from this book, Think and Grow Rich. Now, I'm sure there's a whole mess of other things we could talk about. One of the things I didn't mention was sexual transmutation. He talked about these mental stimulators like love, like hope, faith, knowledge, even narcotics and alcohol he talked about. And sex was number one. And he said that one of the things about successful men, I mean, the book's, it's written for men, it's 1930s or whatever, but this could be anyone, right? I suppose. I suspect that the principles are similar or the same for women. But he says specifically that there's no man that has attained and retained a high degree of success that has not, to a degree, mastered their sexual energy. And so he talks about sexual transmutation as being paramount to becoming successful. And so that is, like sexual alchemy. Basically, in the simple terms, the way he describes it, it's just being able to take your urges and rather than deny them or just seek their expression constantly, learn how to change them, transform them. So transform that energy, which he talks about as the greatest creative force, and transform it into your desire for the thing, the goal that you're trying to accomplish. So, again, I think that's quite a bit to extract from a book in just 43 minutes. And I'm sure that there's a lot more I could continue to talk about, but that's enough for now. I've got an actual appointment with a cute little dog and and a whole bunch of family. So I'll catch you guys on another one real soon. Looking forward to sharing more.